Welcome back to Dubbzi Bricks for another episode of Building Gotham City in Lego. Over the past few weeks, we've been working on the island here for Arkham and finally got it to the shape and size we want it, where we want it in the city. And now it's time to work on the actual asylum itself. Now, the asylum is going to be changing quite a bit looks-wise. I want it to have a more gothic feel about it. I don't want it to be one block, one symmetrical building. So we're going to be having a little bit of a play with the styles that we put in there. The colour scheme is going to be exactly the same as before. I'm going to take this over to the table, not dismantle all of it because there are some parts in here like the cells, they're set up perfectly, so I don't need to change those. So if I can just transfer them over to the new build, that will be good. And first up, we have the doorway, and I've decided to go for these arches here, and I've staggered them so that each one steps out by a half a stud. And it's also going up by one plate, and that's giving it a really nice step effect. And I was looking at the instruction manual for the Arkham Asylum set just to give me some ideas, and there was an image at the very beginning of the instruction manual of Arkham Asylum, graphic novel picture, and I thought that looks really cool, and that had this sort of effect on there, so I thought, yeah, let's give that a go. And yeah, pretty happy with how that's come out. Now, I've got a rough idea of how I want the layout to be within certain parts of Arkham, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of trial and error in there. So without further ado, so let's get some plates out and map out the ground floor. And here we have the base of the first building, and the plan is we're going to have the main structure just here. The entrance is going to be at a 45-degree angle just here. Very similar to what you see on the latest Arkham Asylum Lego set. However, it's going to be obviously my style as opposed to what you see in the Lego set. And over here, we're going to have another structure. Not sure where I'm going to put the exercise yard just yet. I was hoping to get it in this part here. I think that would work well for the location, or possibly there, but we'll have a good think about it. I think it's one of those things I'm only going to be able to tell once I've actually started building. Now, the one thing I am thinking at the moment is we've got two holes here for stairs. So these stairs here lead down to the maximum security. Those stairs there lead down to Strange's experimentation room. And then below there, we've also got these stairs that go to the evidence room, or the room where all the suits are, etc. Now, as you can see, I've put these steps there. They were originally here. And I'm just thinking, if I put them over to this part just here, I could then change this to another cell. At the moment, I'm there thinking you've got Two-Face in one, you've got Poison Ivy, the Joker, the Riddler. There's no room for Freeze. Obviously, we've got Killer Croc down there. This being a larger area would be ideal for having a larger cell for Freeze due to the equipment that's going to be needed to keep the cell ice cold. So I'm just thinking that's probably going to be a better idea. This is a very small space for Strange to have all the experimentation equipment in there anyway. So I think it'd be better to put this on another floor. The only reason I was putting it in the basement was due to the Gotham TV series. That's what I was using as inspiration. And I just think that I'd be better off moving it elsewhere. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make it so there's just one hole in the floor. These steps I'm going to move over by 4 studs, so they're both joined at the top there. And then, yeah, that'd be it. Job done. So let's make the amendments to the plate, and then we can start working out what room is going where. And here we have the start of the walls, and quite happy with how this is coming along. It's going to take a while before I know I'm 100% happy with how it's going. Due to the size of the walls, it restricts what details you can do around the windows. So, for example, over here, we had the indentation on the wall and the brackets on the side. However, that takes up 4 studs, and I don't really want to be doing that on here. If I did that there and there, we'd only have 2 studs in the middle, and I'm not sure that it would look right. Over here, again, I did experiment with it initially. I had this at 10 studs wide, and it didn't look quite right, because if I do the indentation, they're actually touching these snot bricks where I'm going to have protruding tiles. So yeah, just need to make sure that I'm happy with how it's all going. The plan I'm having now is to have the bars so they actually stick out on the windows here, as opposed to being indented like we have over here. I just think it's going to look a little bit better, but it is all experimenting at this stage, so I'm just going to carry on building it up. With the brickwork, I will get some dark brown plates and some reddish brown plates, and then make it look like the occasional brick is in a different colour. I think that weathered look is just going to look, just add another dimension to the brickwork. I think it's just going to look that much better. And because this is modular, all I need to do is just peel a plate off, snap the wall off, and then just replace a couple of bricks. So it is a very easy change further down the line. So I am at the moment, as per usual, making a massive list of parts I need to order from Lego. And here we have the structure on the island, and not liking how it's looking at the moment. I wanted to have the entrance so that when you come across the road, that was the first thing you saw. The problem is, the only real place you're going to enjoy that view of Arkham Island is when you're stood over where the boxes are at the base of the bridge there. And there's a lot of stuff that you're going to be looking over once the city's all built up. So I think I'm going to modify it, or change it, should I say, so the front of the building's looking out over the sea. I think that's just going to be the best option. So when people arrive, they're going to have to walk around or drive around to the front there. Now, obviously, we've got the steps coming up here where people are dropped off by boat. So if there are any people that are coming to visit Arkham, then they need to be able to get there without interacting with any inmates coming to the asylum. So yes, I just need to work out the best way about doing all of this. But I'm sure we'll find a solution one way or another. So what I think I'm going to do is have one building just here, another one at the back there, so almost staggered. So what we're going to do now is just focus on the main entrance to the building. 2 days later, a complete rebuild has taken place. I'm still not happy with this Arkham Asylum. The shape of it is very similar to how it was before, which wasn't what I was after. I know I'm going to have a different bit on the back there, and the top is going to be considerably different to how I originally had it. So it is going to be massively different. However, it's still not looking right. Now, I don't like the fact that the front door is away from the road or the bridge that's going to be coming over to Arkham. So what I'm just going to do now, I'm just going to rotate the building around by 90 degrees so it's facing this way, just to see if it gives me any inspiration for how we can amend this to make it that much better. And I know everybody keeps saying I keep building things and destroying them, but you know, I'm going to keep doing so until I'm happy with the build. So let's rotate it, see what it looks like, and then we'll make necessary changes, if any at all. And here we have the structure rotated around by 90 degrees. And I think I'm coming up with an idea here where I'm going to be able to get this looking how I actually want it to look. And yeah, there's a few bits on here that I'm still not happy with. But I do think it'd be better having the door facing this way as opposed to out over sea. I want to have the Arkham sign over the entrance just here. And I think it's important that when they come in, you're straight there to it. It will mean tweaking the steps just here that lead down to the maximum security. But again, that is something I'm not that worried about, as I've already worked out a way of doing that with minimal disruption to the actual internal side of the island. Anyway, without further ado, let's take this back over to the table and make the amendments. And here we have the latest version of Arkham Asylum, version number 47, I think it is now. On the left-hand side here, we're going to have an office of some description. So I put some studs there ready for a bookcase. This is where the entrance desk is going to be when you come in. You've got the 2 telephones on the wall there. So this is where the inmates will talk to visitors. Got a stud on the wall there for a clock. Steps going up to the next level. So if for any reason any visitors need to go upstairs, then that's the flight of stairs they will use. Got the doorway that will be leading through to the common room. Now from the common room here, there's a bathroom there that can be used by the inmates. There's going to be a door here that will lead upstairs. So this will then lead to where their wardrobes, where their beds are. There's another corridor here. This is going to lead out to another ward, a separate building. If you carry on around the corridor here, this doorway is going to lead to either an exercise yard or botanical gardens. Haven't decided just yet. Carry on around here. The doorway there leads to the stairs. This doorway is for the visitor room. And then this is the whole area is the steps down to maximum security. And then just here, we're going to have another doorway, and that's going to lead to the docks area. So there'll be a pathway along the side of the build. So I think I've got my head around it, how it should be, and I'm pretty confident it's going to work out well. So fingers crossed that is going to be the case. So all I need to do is just build the brick wall up by one more level, and now start doing the external walls on here. I decided to do the internals first this time, as it's a lot easier to get your hands into the build. So anyway, let's carry on building, and I'll check back in once we've got those walls up. And here we have the structure all in place, and liking how this is coming along now. It's finally starting to come together how I was hoping it was going to do so. And I think it's just by going for a totally random shape. And the image on screen now, this is the one that I'm using for inspiration, getting that tall tower in there, but also loads of different heights to the build. So nothing on this structure now is symmetrical. It's all looking completely random. And at the back, we're going to have a completely different colour building as well, which I think is going to add a lot to it. The fences, once they're up again, that's going to add so much more to the build. But yeah, happy that I've made the decision to go with these changes. I think it is going to be a lot better once it's all finished. Now, I am going to need to order in a lot of pieces to enable me to continue going up with all of the details how I want to have it. The snot bricks I'm pretty much out of, and it's not going to be possible to get them this side of Christmas. On the Lego website, it's already saying that missed the last posting date for a lot of things. So yeah, it's going to be next year before we can get a lot of it done. But what I will do, I'll just put other bricks in their place, and then I'll just swap them over once we've had a chance to place the order, which is probably a good thing, because what I can do is I can build up a lot higher with the structure and then order all in one go, and then we'll be able to get the build all complete at the same time. But I have got an order that has been dispatched, which has got a lot of pieces for Arkham Island and the Asylum, so we will still be able to get a lot done with this build. Anyway, that's all we have time for. Hope you've enjoyed the update. If you have, please remember to give us a big thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future content on the channel. And if you know anybody else you think would be interested in building Gotham City in Lego, if you could share the channel with them, it'd be much appreciated. Anyway, thanks for stopping on by, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.